Thank you again so much for taking time out of your busy schedules on a Friday night to come chat with me about your experiences as women, as Black women, and in nature. I wanted to first just say thank you for each of you. In different ways throughout my time as an environmental advocate, I've interacted with each of you, and you've all been able to shed an amazing amount of light on what it means to be a Black woman in this space, but also how we show up. And what I love about each of you, you show up so authentic to yourself. Like, I know you, both of you were yapping out the door. I knew exactly who it was. I thought it was actually might have been Nakima, but then I was like, she probably gonna be a little bit late. But I knew exactly who it was gonna be. But through our time today, we're just gonna have some guiding questions, but you guys can just freely talk, bounce ideas off of each other, bounce feelings off of each other, and just let it flow as a conversation. Act like they're not even here. Okay. Kima, thank you again for grounding us in this space. You want to add that last part of the song that she shared?
The part I said I did right? No.
Yes. Or, you can share the part that you did right. How about that?
No, because that was the reset. But the whole thing is about embracing it. So you can't be a creator and want to be a controller. Like the elements of nature and earth. Like, you can pull out an umbrella, but you can't stop a hurricane, kind of thing. And so I'm not trying to go too far off of that, but it's like what I had to learn when I write for people in general is like I wanted to be like, and I just have to go, actually, I gave it to you in an agreement that you could take it and build off of it. And so I have to trust. And she did a great job with it. So, but it was the part of it where she said, I am wisdom, I'll be all I need to be, ultimate femininity, this is me. And for some reason, it just struck me because as much as I love being a woman, I just don't feel like I have to always lead with that, because I think it's kind of apparent when you're aware, and it shouldn't really matter. When mama walks in the room, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it's just an unsaid, you're a woman, you're a man kind of thing. And I know there's other genders now, and it's a larger pool, but for me, I don't know, I didn't want to make it about that, but then once it happened and I saw how women responded to it, and then I heard about the terms ecofeminist, and I don't know why I was so shy with using the word, like, am I a feminist? Right? It seems, not that I'm not radical, but I just have this oneness about me.
You are you.
Yeah.
I gotta put a label on it.
But I mean, I could see some women like, you're not a feminist. You should be a feminist because you have a vagina. And it's just like, I kind of am one, but like, I don't think I should have to open with that.
Right. You show up who you are without the labels.
Yeah.
Correct.
I am Kima. I am Maya. I am who you are.
Yeah. Well, and there's energy, and people can feel it. Like, feminine energy is feminine energy, masculine. And we can have like a deep voice. Like, there's certain elements that come together for all of us, but like our core container, it's pretty apparent when a woman walks in the room.
I've always felt the need to tag it, you're feminist or are you feminist, is anti-feminist to what that's supposed to mean. Isn't that what it's supposed to mean, not having these constructs of how you're supposed to act, think, feel because you're a woman or because you identify as a woman? Like, why do I have to say I'm anything? To your point, like, I just am.
But if you need to know,
Right.
watch this.
Right.
No, feel this.
Baby.
Right. Yeah. It's so funny to me when they start to use like terms like for nature, like mother nature, father time. But mother nature, like, so nature is a woman because it's such a plentiful, like it births thing. Oh, yeah. So
Giving
that's why
life.
Yes. I don't have to brag. You already know.
I love that. Well, my first question, and as we kind of go into that, what emotions come up for you as you kind of like think about yourself or think about your connection that you do have with nature?
I mean, I just feel at peace when I'm in nature. I feel a lot of joy. I go into nature to relax and to really ground myself with myself. You know, there's times where you might be stressed, just need a moment. But when I'm out in nature, I can just kind of observe what's going on around me and kind of get back centered to myself.
Yeah. I'll say too that, I don't know, the first word that came to my mind was like power. And also like nature just makes sense to me. It's like the birds and the bees and the trees, but also the vibrations and the systems that just naturally exist, where we live in a world that you know, whether you don't feel seen or you don't feel supported, the parallels that you feel like or see within nature is powerful. And to say Mother Nature is a Black woman or a woman, I'm like, yes, the way in which we provide. And so I guess I just feel so seen, like in the space that is like reciprocal of like me, like of us. And it's powerful in that. Like, I don't need to fall to the systems of whatever politics or whatever ways of the world. Like, we have Mother Nature as it should be. Yeah.
Thankfully. I don't want to make a sad thing, but what I thought about was mothered, because my mother was the drugs and alcohol when I was coming up, so I never really had, my father raised me, so I never had the full-fledged mother experience. But nature mothers me. You know what I mean? I feel like, because it's something, I just feel like I fall into it, and I'm a child. Does that make sense? Yeah, because it's all like oceans. I mean, you fear the ocean because it's vast, right? I can go and think I'm swimming and look, but at the end of the day, a wave could come and handle business. We're always at the mercy of nature, right?
Yeah.
And it even functions inside of us. Early when I was an environmental educator, I had this picture, and it was a picture of, it was a Far Side comic, and it was Mother Nature on life support with all these animals around her. Wow. And so I shared the pic. I asked the kids, like, what do you think this picture's saying? And somebody was like, you know, somebody's sick to that. But we ultimately got to the word nature. And I said it was Mother Nature. And I said, well, what does Mother Nature do? And this girl raised her hand, and she said, she gives you your period. I was like, yeah. So I said, so nature's not just this place you go visit. It's inside. It definitely gets more complicated. Oh, yeah. You can't really have that deep of a conversation always with kids. But the fact that in that young girl, she had to be about maybe 7 or 8. I was just like,
that's deep.
That was, you get it, girl.
Yeah, I always feel a great deal of gratitude. And so, because I'm so, I feel so little to this, all of this richness, and just a gratitude that it's still available for me to explore. And every day, I feel like I learn something or see something new, you know. And on the same, you know, walk that I'm on or path, I'm very spoiled where I live. The woods are my backyard, but I feel like I see something different every day, and that's a gift.
Every time I walk, I pray, and so within my prayer, you know, I thank God for existing. I thank God for being, but I thank God for allowing me to have this body, to be able to move in this body, to be able to smell, to be able to do all these like basic things. And it's so much easier for me to pray when I'm in nature because I feel that gratitude and I feel that connection. And, you know, God created all of these beautiful things that He has given us to like be in community with. And so that is like my constant prayer. Of course, you pray for all the other things in the world, but like I pray for this, like the world, but also the gratitude of being able to experience it in the way that I am. I don't think a lot of people get to experience nature the way that we do because of the space that we come from in the environmental space. I know a lot of us are trying to bring people into that and making sure that they feel that, or they can kind of connect that richness to being outdoors. I want to give you guys like each a little bit of time to just share kind of what you're doing now in this space, whether it relates to nature, whether it relates to community, just share a little bit about that. And I know we'll talk more integratively about what it means to all of you.
Sure. I'm Mariah. I started a business recently called Davis Strategies, and my whole thing is just about trying to create more accessible, spaces for people to reach as far as nature goes, people of color, immigrants, LGBTQ communities having that access to nature, and also getting, resources, for organizations to carry out their missions. That's my whole thing. I live it, I breathe it, and love to do it in concert with all of you.
I'm Maria Elena. I am currently the president of DC Bird Alliance, formerly Audubon Society of DC, where we build community around birds in all 8 wards and beyond at Jomati's Valley, because I make her come to all the bird walks. So lifelong bird lover. I don't like saying birder anymore because I think it makes people think they have to have a certain level of expertise. Mm-hmm. And I say that the first time you saw a bird, you became a birder. And that's all of us. Incredibly in love with birds and with their habitats, and by extension, nature and everything that preserves life and sustains life, which we all need as well. But so right now, some of our principal objectives is to engage residents in those areas where that have the most beautiful spaces in DC. Those are Ward 7 and 8. But Kenilworth Park is in Ward 7. Kingman Island is in Ward 7. Anacostia Park, Ward 8, where we have, conversely, a dearth of membership and participation. I don't care as much about the membership than I do about the participation from residents in those very wards where we do most of our birding. To me, that's not fair. So that's a big objective of ours to get fixed. Yeah.
That's a perfect segue.
Yes.
I grew up in DC, but I'm 30 years in the environmental game. Kind of came in it as one of those programs where they say, hey, let's expose Black kids to youth, or Black kids to nature. But I was around college time, and so that, unbeknown to me, became my career because I was an environmental educator, and I was always put in front of our communities. And I always recognized where like the real outcomes were like kids were trying new things, like they felt safe enough to do that, or that they were in need of just kind, warm regard from someone that looked like them. Yeah. Right? And so I would have all this success, but I would still score low and, da-da-da. So I came into this with a really defensive spirit and trauma because of the racism. And so thankfully, because I didn't have children, I didn't have major responsibilities, I was able to start working for myself early on. Because I was like, you know what, screw you. I was on Kingman Island doing stuff in the 90s with Rodney, you know what I mean? And a lot of our stuff still is because it was connection and true. And so fast forward, I did a lot of work nationally, but I was asked to help found the Friends of Anacostia Park in 2018. And because that was a park I played in, love that park. I love cookouts. I love water. It was a dream come true. And so fast forward, I founded the organization, never wanted to be the executive director because I knew that I didn't have the couth because it's a partnership with the National Park Service to maneuver that relationship. But I definitely was on the programming side of just building out the programs. And so because of that, what I'm currently doing now is evolving this practice called restorative park engagement, which is where it's basically trauma-informed environmentalism, but intentionally building a network of case managers, social workers, probation officers, like people who work with stress communities, using parks as either a backdrop to what you already do. You don't even have to talk about nature or recognize the birds. But as you know, once you get out there and you having this deep conversation with me and this bird flies over, I'm gonna go, right? And so I just believe in the power of nature as a backdrop. And then you could also get very intentional and talk about just the power of service. So stewardship, how to empower people to care for it. But I'm also not big on the expectation of you saving the planet because I work with people in survival mode. They're like, and the planet's gonna far outlive us. Nature's so much bigger than us, right? So I don't care if you recycle. I don't care if you can describe a watershed. I do care if you trust me enough or your mom trusts me enough to let you go out on this boat, right? Because a lot of our communities are very fixed and you ain't going out in the woods and da-da-da-da. So So this restorative park engagement work, I'm working for it now nationally to kind of establish the model, collecting the research and case studies to let it really be not that it's not legit, but legit in that bigger pool of what other people need to validate it as successful. Because people have always been like, oh, you do great work. Where's the funding? I don't want to go to, I stopped doing speaking engagements because I don't want to talk to you anymore. I want you to do it. Yeah. So I'd rather invite you into a practice where you smoke you out. Are you really trying to do this or not? And it's okay if you don't. Then shut up. And stop appropriating little Black kids in the nature and going think you saving something when these kids still got to go home. Right. I'm going to stop here. But I'm very passionate about the Ward 7 and 8. And that's the other side too. We got the fertile land, beautiful landscapes of the city, incredible parks. And people are using them. It's just now being more intentional and having more case managers, probation officers, and people like that who already are working with clients that live in Ward 7 and 8 to intentionally use their green spaces around them. Okay. Parkslove.us.
I got you. I'm Maya, and I don't know why I looked at the camera. I'm Maya.
What camera?
And I am, first, a nature, love, and adventure is how I like coin myself. And so what that looks like is, professionally, I work for a nonprofit down in the Shenandoah Valley. So I live in Stanton, originally from Maryland, though. But I work for a nonprofit, and I do community engagement through our, land use transportation planning. It seems kind of boring, but it's how we use the land is how we affect the health of the environment and the people. So I do a lot of like the community engagement and like capacity building, which is like ensuring that organizations who are doing the work to do the conservation stuff, have their needs met. So whether that's like board recruitment, volunteer, database management, or just funding to support their staff, like those basic needs that are met there. So that's a lot of what my work is through that role. And it's great. The area that I live and work is very white. So there's just that, being from Maryland, the DMV area, I miss that aspect, and seeing myself, the communities, our communities down there, we're down there. But it's more of like kind of what you were saying, Kima, like nature is a backdrop. It's there, and the valley is beautiful. Like we have the mountains and things, but again, kind of with like capacity building, making sure that like the community's needs are met first. And also, messing up mountains over here, like we can do this and that, like, maybe over here. So that's like my professional lens with what I do. And I'd say like personally, like I live and breathe, like making sure that people see and understand the value of nature. So for me, that's like taking pictures, it's taking videos, sharing it on my Instagram story, but like so that people can see the love of like what I have, and hopefully it's a little contagious so that they also want to like protect or like have a love for whether it's the river or the mountains or, surf, whatever it is. Like, I just hope that I can inspire people to take care of the earth, right? Like, we're not going to save it, but having a relationship is important to the environment and also for yourself. Like, again, that like parallel and the reciprocity there. But yeah, like taking care of you and the environment, like it goes hand in hand. So that's what I try to do. We do like I host campouts on the family land, like just getting my, my little god baby, like, barefoot in the grass. Like that's just what I want, like the next generation to also see that.
And I love all of the work that you all do. It's interesting that, as an environmental advocate, working in Ward 7 and 8 and being able to do community engagement, being able to do advocacy, and being able to also be connected to each of you and the different things that you're doing is so fun. But it just shows how intersectional all this work is for you to have enjoyment, for you to be able to address systemic issues with, communities that are in survival mode, for you to just be a bird lover, and for you to make sure that organizations are doing the due diligence to make sure that the things that we're advocating for are not only on behalf of the communities that actually want the things that they actually want and the things that they actually need, but to do it in a way that is just and takes time. So thank you. I honor you guys for all that you do. Always. I guess I'm going to kind of pivot a little bit, and I'm going to ask, can you describe a Black woman who has deeply influenced your life, and what stands out to you about her presence or her spirit? And then just think about, like, we're connecting this to nature, right? So this woman, if you want to draw those parallels, write a little song real quick and get those metaphors in. But yeah, what is somebody that's deeply influenced you, and then what has noticed you about their presence and their spirit and their essence? You can let it breathe.
I thought about this one because I was like, I could go so many places. Like Marta Cruz Kelly was the woman in 1990 that helped found the program with this guy, Destry Jarvis, that created, it was called the Career Conservation Development Program. And just she was the first woman that ever told me about gaslighting. And she worked for the Park Service. She broke it down. There's Brenda Richardson, who was doing social work. Yeah. But when I thought about all these women, I said, this one particular woman is not super accomplished or that traditional thing. But this woman, Phyllis, that we work with, her name is Phyllis Nelson, and I started working with her in 2014. I was working through a social service organization because I left the field of environmentalism, and I was like, screw y'all, I'm not an environmental educator, because they were always telling me I wasn't an environmental educator, and I was just like, okay, fine, I don't need to fit in your box. So I went to a social service organization, but when I met this woman, we were working around Kenilworth Aquatic Gardens. Like I was using that as the space because there's all these families over in, Kenilworth Parkside, Mayfair. The DC Promise Neighborhood Initiative's whole effort was just around wraparound services for that organization. So I was like, I come off of making 6 figures to take a job making $30,000 a year as their health coordinator, but I did not care. I don't have children. I don't have these massive needs, right? And I wanted that social work experience, and I knew the community and I knew the park. And so when we started there, what I realized was I could not do it just with me and the team. Like I needed people from the community because they were the ones that helped with behavior challenges because they knew people's aunts and so forth. So this one particular woman, Phyllis Nelson, she knew all of these kids. She knew their aunts. She knew their cousins. I'm not even being funny with you. I'm not even being funny with you. But her story was that she was on crack most of her life. And the reason she had such strong relationships, because she grew up in like Lincoln Heights and she was all over the place. I think she started in Georgetown. But her impact at Kenilworth was when I believe most of her drug use was. But she, I'm like crazy, but as the crackhead, was the one that walked the kids to school, because Kenilworth was there and Neville Thomas. And the parents trusted her because it was morning, she wasn't getting high. We knew what she was doing with the money, but for whatever, she trusted them with her kids, and she became this person. And so her heart was still good, but she was damaged from something that she sought out the drugs, but she got clean, and she still works with me today. Like I'm trying to tell you, watching her, because she's still a struggle. It's not even about the drugs anymore. It's about all of the life that you didn't get to process when you were numb, right? And how it shows up, and when she gets the opportunity to make money, like, is she able to, she's incredibly frustrating. We frustrate each other, and she's still growing, right? But she just, I don't know, I just get inspired by her. As much as she frustrates me sometimes, it's still inspirational, because it reminds me of just how real this is. Like, it's not quick and clean. You don't save somebody's life because you give them a check. Yeah. You don't save somebody's life because you give them I'm not trying to save her life, but that's not the answer. It's a lifelong journey and process, and she models that to me. And she just recently lost her mother, and she lost her dad, and just how I watch her navigate life. We're so lucky. Like, I'm so privileged, in certain rights. So she just keeps me grounded and humbled, and so she is a huge influencer for me. And she validated for me too that this work could be done, because I had done a lot by the time I met her, but just that element of community in doing the work, she just brought this magic that I'm so grateful for.
Wow. That is so beautiful.
Awesome. Yeah, and she's still. I mean, you got to meet Miss Phyllis. You'll get it.
Yeah,
she's so raw. Yeah, real. No, you don't even understand what I'm trying to tell you. I hope I'm not getting too real, and she don't care because she does it. She has fake teeth because of all that. And sometimes she'll be eating with them. She'll just take them out. She's zero. She doesn't have any shame. She does not have any shame. No, but when you get to that level of life where you get to wherever you get to, where the drug game, where you do you don't have this sense of like air and like I gotta be this and da. She is so authentic, to a point where sometimes I do have to pull her in and be like, but I'd rather that than somebody that you can't feel, because there's all these layers, So another long-winded answer.
Real authentic. So
she's like straight up and down. Yeah.
For me, it was my grandmother. She was a gardener. She had a green thumb. And I would the degree of patience, it takes a special person. She grew roses was her thing. And I didn't know until I was a little older that those are particularly difficult to grow. And so I'm watching her, and she was a very stoic woman. I have her diploma from the University of Havana in my house from 1948. Wow. So she was one of the few, Black women. She was the equivalent of what would be like a midwife. Mm-hmm. And I have that diploma. It's a huge diploma. It's beautiful. Mm-hmm. But the only time I ever saw her cry was when we had like this stray dog, and he got caught up in her rose bush, and she had to cut him out, and in so doing had to cut the roses. And that's the only time I ever saw her cry. And it struck me, I was like 13, 14, wow, like this is what sustained her, like all of her joy was in those roses. Like she was so stoic, and just so steady and strong. Like we could always count on her, whatever you needed. It was, she raised us, she was in the house with us. And her emotion was all in those roses. And so they meant something different to me. Like it was probably one of my first connections to everything is in nature. Like it's holding, it held all of my grandmother's right there. Mm-hmm. And when I see roses, I'm like, that's my grandmother's right there. Mm-hmm. It's like, so and I'd never forget that example. When I see a beautiful flower, I think of my grandmother. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. One person I think about is Dr. Mamie Parker. She walks into a room and you can't help but try to find out where she is. You know what I mean? You hear her, you can hear her voice from a mile away. And I think she's just so influential, such a humble person. and always willing to help out other people, especially younger women, men and women. I think she's somebody who always brings her full, authentic self. I've never seen her have a bad day. That doesn't mean she doesn't struggle, but she's always bringing such positivity to the space and to the room, and always willing to give a helping hand and show you how she got there too. You know what I mean? So she's wonderful, and definitely a mentor for me, and I know a lot of people too.
Yeah, I was like, when I read this question at first, I was like, this is hard. There's so many women, like y'all included. There's my mom, grandmas, but I'm blessed to have like a great sister circle, like a circle of friends. And my friend Diamond Clark, some of y'all may know her. She's shorter than me, believe it or not. And like. The vibe, the aura, like it just fills the room. Like you don't even notice she's short, like because like her energy, her personality. I don't say it's so tall. Like she doesn't have an ego or anything. She's just a beautiful human being, and without putting so much of her business out there. I mean, just the way that we got close at our time during the working at the National Aquarium. That's a whole story in itself. That was definitely a trauma bond that we formed along with some other girlfriends as well. But we've been friends since I'd say the past like 5-6 years, and it's been a very close one. And me like leading to not putting too much of her personal business out there, but she recently just welcomed her second son. Aww. And it's a beautiful thing to witness. She did it in the way that she wanted to, where she wanted to, and we're very candid and we're very open. She shared like a lot of things with us, and recently she reached out and was just like, hey, like this is where I am, like postpartum, all of that. And she shared a picture of her harvest from the garden, and then also just other ways in which she's actually providing for her new baby. And I just thought that, just the greatness that she is just in this environmental field, the things she's done. And then now like rebirthed and like learning herself, and the parallel with nature though, like I was like, there's seasons, and like right now, like you just, you produced, and like, I don't even mean to say it like that, but like the way that you just gave life, and you're honest in how you're feeling right now. Like even the roses or all the plants, they need some fertilizer every now and then. Take care of yourself in order to make sure that you can, the harvest is good again, whatever that may be, so that you can be the best you can for your children, for the community. But just know that tending to yourself first, like you got to do that. Make sure that your needs are met, your roots are fed. So all that to say, like, she is a power and such a great friend, and she takes me in rooms where I'm not there, and has led me to so many like connections that I got now, and I try to reciprocate and do the same for her. So yeah, my girl Diamond.
Yeah, Diamond.
I love that. Yeah. So many like amazing people, and I think about some of the things that you all described, just like the trust aspect. Like we trust nature to make sure that, certain things don't happen, even though they do happen. We trust nature and that beauty that it provides. And I think about when you talk about your grandmother being so stoic, and then like that was that. I feel like sometimes nature can be really stoic, and we are the people that kind of penetrate it, and kind of, it's like that reciprocity. We give life to it. It gives life to us, and how that rose bush gave so much life to her, and she was making sure that it was being sustained through it all. But I think that is, all of those are just such beautiful connections that I feel like, first of all, God is very intentional about the people that he puts in our lives for us to be able to see and experience and do all of the amazing things that we want to do. But just like the foundation that each of those people have like set within you to how you all move and navigate through life now. Which brings me to one of my final questions, actually. How do you honor and celebrate your connections with your identity and to nature in your everyday life?
I think nature makes me forget about my identity. Because again, you go back to just this feeling of like, I'm not a woman, I'm not a man, I'm alive. And I'm in the, I know for some reason I'm really drawn to water. Just trees, anything, right? But water specifically speaks to me. And I don't know, the depth, I don't know, just the parallels, right? Of just, because a lot of people believe we came from water. Maybe not the water itself, but from water. makes me forget myself. It makes me realize how small I am and like dust in the wind kind of thing where when life can feel so massive, I'm like, I gotta do this and I gotta do that. I'm supposed to be da-da-da-da-da. But nature's like, oh. So maybe it's kind of almost the reverse. And not like I'm trying to lose myself at all. But it's just, again, like when you see if an eagle flew over your head, most people, if they're sane for the most part, the presence of that bird will just reset. Like you were saying, kind of like, so just, I don't know, for me, it's again, not like I'm trying to escape my life, but just I need that pause. I think somebody said pause again as well, but just I need that pause and just that reminder that it's just a moment, that it's gonna be okay. Like if it's not a tsunami or flood, like I need to just go ahead and chill. It's gonna be all right, you know? So maybe that's why I go to the ocean and what that kind of does for me is just bring me back to my reset of just like, it's bigger than me.
I feel that. I do. For me, it's like, I know when I've gone too long without being outside. You know, we all are behind our computers now, but I go to the national park. I'm grateful to live right by Shenandoah National Park. So I'm grateful for like the public lands that I could just go up there and just be and just take deep breaths. And sometimes I'm like, do I need to be intentional about meditating? But sometimes it's not that. Sometimes I bring my ice cream home up there, but I'm just like looking out and just hearing the sounds. Listening to the trees. Sometimes I'll even talk with the trees, you know, like how y'all make it through winter. Like, and like, I even wrote something down I shared with my girlfriends, just the lessons that like nature can teach you if you just listen. But I'm like, the fact that they make it through the seasons too, like they are trusting, right or not, like, you know, I have feelings, but that they are still there, like even through the winter.
Centuries.
They come, yes, through centuries, but even just through like the temporary just season, right? In which winter may feel like it's forever. Like when is it gonna end? But here comes spring again. Here comes summer again. And then you go back into the periods. But it's like for me, listening to that, like, okay, they're here. Like I'm able to center and ground myself with that. And that's what gives me peace. And so I'm like, whatever my winter season may be, it won't last always, right? Trouble don't last always. Like it's temporary. So I look for that when I go out into the mountains or listen to, you know, the water through the mountainside stream. Like that's how I identify and get my peace.
I love that you talked about lessons too, because I started writing down lessons that I felt the birds were showing me. Because I'm like, I'm being selfish out here just, oh, it's such a pretty bird. And the bird doesn't care, right? I think that's pretty. It's like, what else can I draw for myself, right? And because I must be part of this equation. I'm part of this. And I started writing down little lessons that I can use and that they're showing me, that they must be showing me, because these are sentient beings, right? And instinct, you know, science, when we love scientists, but instincts that they're pre-programmed, or it's just, you know, this is the way they behave. Okay. And in so being, there has to be something I can, like the eagle with the famously teeny tiny little voice. But they got them talents, right? So speak softly and have your talents ready, right? Or like woodpeckers who hammer with forces that if we tried it, we would die, right? That can hammer at forces that greater than astronauts experience coming in and out of our atmosphere. That little bird, less than 2 pounds, can hammer at more force than that. Right? That we all have a superpower, right? Like, do you know what your superpower is? Like, where do birds go when there's poor weather? Right? I ask kids this when we have our programs, and they like, you know, they say, oh, they go to their mommy's house. Well, they go to the canopy, right? They seek protection in the canopy. So, like, do we know what your canopies are? What's your canopy? Like, my canopy is my family and my friends. Like, what's your canopy? And be a canopy for someone else. And so in that way, now when I'm in nature, when I'm in nature now, like you talked about a prayer, like just a moving meditation, a moving prayer, and a request and a thanks that I'm able to observe, and, you know, and to draw from that what I'm being shown. Because there has to be a reason other than just, oh, that is so cute. That bird's so cute. The bird doesn't care that I think it's cute. That would be a bigger reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing that I'm hearing and that I relate to is just what nature can teach us and how it can inspire us and spark our curiosity. I've been doing a lot of farming this summer and volunteering with Ujamaa Seed Collective, and they're seed growers and farmers all across the United States. And I now look at seeds a lot differently than when I looked at them before. Thinking about plants, starting off as a seed and going into a sprout and a seedling and then fruiting, and like how much labor and care that really takes. That has really grounded me in nature. I was out farming last week and I was weeding and came across a black widow. And never have I felt so small.
Exactly.
I'd never seen one before, but when I saw it, I knew exactly what it was. And I was like, okay, I'm glad I have on, gloves today. But, just being able to have my hands in the dirt has just really kind of connected me back, I think, back to my roots, and, been able to pay a lot of respect to, where our food comes from and how important that is, not just for feeding us, but for, our culture, and for our people too. So,
Nice.
yeah.
Since you guys are sharing lessons, which I love how you're starting to write those down. Hopefully a book will come out with that too. Nature lessons. But as we close, I want to know if there's a message, a prayer, or a wish that you could offer to Black women and to the earth today.
Keep going. Persevere.
Go outside.
Yes.
Go outside.
Yes.
Please. Yeah.
The word I just would say, trust the process, but the word radical. Like Audre Lorde had a quote that was like, gosh, I'm gonna chop this up, I'm sorry, Audre. But when I use my vision for my purpose, it becomes less worried about being afraid or something. But like when you're focused on your purpose, like you can be fearless. And so I know for me, it's not every day, right? We all fluctuate and our best fluctuates, but just that consistent, like radical courage, the radical partnerships, like doing the self-work to hold hands with people that like traditionally, like I really didn't want to hold hands. Like there's some white people, no offense, because I try to see the oneness, but because of the damage I ensued, a lot of us are sometimes like really like, I don't trust you and da-da-da, but like that, the importance of those radical partnerships of not just behind race, but like case managers, unhoused youth.
Yeah.
They can, you can learn so much. And then the last piece would just be that radical courage. Like, again, like just keep coming back to trust your process. Like those seasons, while this winter might seem like it's going to last forever. Oh, I know one really good one though, that one of my first ones was three things cannot long remain hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth. And I saw that full moon on my way here. I was like, Giovanni, but I said, you ain't gonna plan this around the moon, girl. But that just again, trust the process of what nature truly is, which is even amidst a hurricane or a tornado or something that seems so, because nature's not always fun and pretty.
No.
But just that there's purpose behind it, and that there's gonna, this calm is gonna come and the purpose is gonna come. It's just enduring that and not self-destructing in the process.
I know I just echo what all of y'all say. Because I was telling a girlfriend earlier, like, intentionality, the universe, nature, all of that, it's there. Intentionality does not mean it's easy, though. So gotta remember that. But I don't think this is trademarked, but like, be a good relative. I've heard that. I mean, in the sense like that we're not already doing that, but looking at Mother Nature as like a relative, like just giving that respect, like as you would treat a cousin, a brother, a sister, whatever, whoever, like whatever that looks like, and just bring that respect.
I love that.
So,
I wish this conversation could go on because I wanted to bring up so many more, so much more things. But I know our time has come to a close. But I want to say thank you all so much for sharing your light, sharing your stories, and your experiences. And I know each of you bring like your individuality into like all of the work that we're doing together. So I just pray that you guys feel rest. And as we go into a new weekend and feel rest as you recharge as we keep fighting the good fight together. But thank you. And that's a wrap.